Hi everyone, Matthew here at AAWeatherWatch, taking a look at the weather through the course of the coming week. Obviously the final full week of September, Monday the 25th through to Friday the 29th. And it is essentially a week of two halves. Some particularly pleasant conditions for late September are forecast through the rest of Monday and into Tuesday. Some mist and fog patches today clearing, but then a reasonable day, and again another decent day overall on Tuesday. However, conditions quickly deteriorate from the middle of the week onwards as lower pressure arrives, bringing increasingly wet and autumnal conditions. Now, satellite imagery at the moment shows that little window of better weather across the country, again in a region with an association with a little ridge of high pressure. Essentially, it is this region of clearer skies on satellite imagery which has allowed for some mist and fog to develop overnight. That has certainly been in evidence first thing this morning, but will clear through the rest of the morning and into the early afternoon to then leave behind it again a decent day. Low pressure spiralling away in the North Atlantic. You can see the clouds spiralling around that area of low pressure, and essentially these weather systems are just about held at bay again through Monday and Tuesday, but then become increasingly influential from the middle of the week onwards. Just taking a quick look at that high-resolution satellite imagery and radar, and you can see obviously across the country all areas are dry. This region of cloud here, just highlighting here, this is the mist and fog showing up on satellite imagery. Again, locally dense in places first thing this morning, but it will clear. Yes, this is higher level cloud, perhaps making the sunshine a little hazy at times through the rest of the day, but otherwise a very pleasant day indeed for late September, and pleasantly warm too in the sunshine as the day progresses. So let's take a look at the forecast weather charts now. To put the details onto the forecast, and through the rest of Monday there's a little ridge of high pressure leading to this fine weather again through the rest of the day. So a very pleasant afternoon and evening ahead. Now overnight and into Tuesday, and it is continuing to be dry. Some clear spells and variable cloud, perhaps not just quite as chilly as last night given a developing south or southeasterly breeze. So we move through into Tuesday morning, and it is generally dry across much of the country, as you can see. Weather systems still being held at bay by an area of high pressure across much of the British Isles. So again, a reasonable start to Tuesday. Some brighter sunny spells, but generally perhaps more cloud than compared with Monday. As Tuesday progresses, and overall it will generally be another predominantly dry day. The cloud potentially breaking to allow for a greater risk of some brighter sunny spells as the afternoon progresses. As you can see, this is the latest forecast chart for around about 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. Many areas continuing to be dry, brighter sunny spells, not the close proximity of the black lines, these isobars as ever, indicating the strength of the wind. So quite a blustery southerly wind developing, but it will be pleasant enough in the sunny spells through the afternoon. Now into Tuesday evening and overnight into Wednesday, and that's when we first see the signs of a change to more unsettled conditions. So again, after a dry day for many areas on Tuesday, the wet weather lurking to the west then begins to move in, and essentially that then leads to an increasingly unsettled period of weather from the middle of the week onwards. So we move into Wednesday, and at the moment some northern and eastern areas of the country may well start dry on Wednesday morning, but wet weather already in evidence across parts of the west and south will slowly move north and east through the day. Now the rainfall associated with this area of low pressure and unsettled conditions will be particularly heavy. As a result, given the slow nature of the weather system too, then some locally large rainfall totals are certainly possible as Wednesday progresses. So even by the time we get to 6 o'clock on Wednesday, you can see the wet weather is still persistent across much of the country and only just beginning to show signs of clearing away from southwestern areas. So Wednesday in particular, emphasis on a very wet day, with again a risk of some particularly large rainfall totals and clearly some poor driving conditions too. Now into Wednesday evening and overnight, and finally that wet weather begins to pull away, so we move into a period of a little improvement, a little brief window of better weather as we move into Thursday. So Thursday itself certainly a much improved day than compared with Wednesday. By the time we get to the middle of the day on Thursday, it is overall predominantly dry with some brighter sunny spells, but the next weather system in evidence here is then approaching from the west. So by the time we get to the middle and latter half of Thursday afternoon, wet and windy weather will begin to return to the extreme west of Ireland. But otherwise, as I say, as you can see, the latest weather chart for the middle of the afternoon on Thursday still shows a lot of dry weather across much of the country. Now this wet weather will move north and east late on Thursday and overnight into Friday. And quickly looking at the latest weather chart for Friday, it is a wet start to the day as things stand. Weather system bringing outbreaks of rain eastwards. This then clearing to somewhat dry, brighter, cooler conditions, but with a mixture of blustery showers on Friday afternoon. So let's take a quick look at the temperatures now through the course of the coming week. And overall, temperatures this week will be near, if not a little bit above average, for late September. So emphasis is on some pleasantly warm conditions, especially so on Monday and obviously into Tuesday, given the dry and sunnier conditions. So through the rest of Monday, temperatures quite widely 16, 17, perhaps even 18 degrees Celsius is possible through the course of the afternoon in the sunshine. This evening and overnight into Tuesday, minimum temperatures perhaps no lower than 7, 8 or 9 degrees Celsius higher around the coast and in towns and cities. Through into Tuesday, and temperatures very similar to Monday, another very pleasant day indeed. Obviously, yes, there will be an increasingly strong southerly wind developing, but again, Tuesday, another dry day as I've highlighted, and temperatures recovering after a locally chilly start. 16, 17, 18 degrees again possible in some afternoon sunshine. Now towards the middle of the week, and temperatures if anything a little bit lower by the time we get to Wednesday, obviously primarily due to more unsettled conditions. So highs on Wednesday probably no more than 13 or 14 degrees beneath that persistent wet weather. Now towards the end of the week, if anything, temperatures will just begin to show signs of declining a little bit, but even on Thursday, highs 14, 15, 16, which is again near, if not a little bit above, average for late September. But then we do see a more pronounced change to somewhat cooler and fresher conditions by Friday. So by the time we do get to Friday, maximum temperature is certainly no higher than around about 13 or 14 degrees. So let's finally summarise that in our weekly weather summary. The best of the weather certainly during the early part of the week. Both Monday and Tuesday mainly dry with some brighter sunny spells and pleasantly warm in the sunshine too. But watch out for some overnight mist and fog patches, which will be locally hazardous to obviously driving conditions. Through into the middle of the week, Wednesday the 27th, quickly becoming a more unsettled. Risk of moderate to heavy rain slowly moving north and east through the day, leading to some locally large rainfall totals, and the unsettled theme will continue to end the week. Yes, perhaps a little brief window of better weather on Thursday once wet weather clears away, but it will then become increasingly wet and windy through late Thursday into Friday, and also turning cooler as well. So that's all the details for the week ahead. As ever, I'll be back with you in the midweek update on Wednesday, just fine-tuning those details for the second half of the week, but most certainly a case of enjoy the weather over the next 24 to 48 hours.